Now what I'd like to talk about is the technical skills for players to be very successful at winning face-offs. The first is to have really good hand quickness and strengths. They're certainly a key. Your skates want to be slightly wider than your shoulders and a really good knee bend. Actually, just having a good athletic posture so you can react and really leverage off of your stick. Your hands want to be firm on your stick, and you want to make sure they're strong enough and wide enough that you have good ability to react to different situations, but also have strength where you can power down on your opponent. You want to have good lean on that stick. Keep it close enough to the dot where you can still use your feet and rotate and roll into that. You want to make sure you keep your eye on the puck in the linesman's hand. That may sound simple, but oftentimes guys lose sight of the fact and don't keep their eye on the puck. Now you want to focus on the dot, the puck in the linesman's hand, as well as where your opponent's stick is. So that's kind of the progression of what you want to do, the technical skills to be a really good face-off guy. And then you want to make sure you're able to draw the puck back both on your forehand as well as your backhand. You sometimes want to be able to go forward with the puck on your forehand, and sometimes you might want to be able to go forward with the puck on your backhand. So have as many adaptable situations and skills in your repertoire as possible. And then you have to be very good at neutralizing your opponent, being able to tie up your opponent's stick, and then roll into the draws we talked about to be able to use your body and your feet oftentimes, depending on what the opponent is bringing to you. That's really important. There's another technical skill that's really important when you're winning face-offs, and that's the ability to hit your opponent's stick and then be able to draw the puck back. Once again, that comes from the strong hands, the quick hands, and really good, alert eyes on the puck. And then the reverse grip. That's a powerful grip that a lot of centers will use. They'll reverse their lower hand, turn it over on their stick, so they have more pulling action to pull that puck back to one of their teammates. But it's a very predictable move, and you have to be able to make sure you're quick enough to handle that maneuver. Okay, one of the things from a technical standpoint, in terms of a good face-off men taking draws, has to do with first their feet. The positioning of their feet should be slightly outside, shoulder width. Hands should be holding on to the stick firmly, and knees should be bent in an athletic posture. So as we have these two players, they get down, and their hands are in a good position here where they have a lot of mobility, can pull the puck on their forehand and backhand, but they also have their hands low enough and wide enough on their sticks where they have good leverage and strength for the puck. And their feet are not so far apart that an opponent can knock them off balance. And when they're taking face-offs, it's critical. They're watching the puck in the linesman's hand. They also have a good understanding of where the dot is, and they see where the opponent's stick is. You got a righty and a righty here, and they try to assess what the opponent might be trying to do. So right now we'll have a contested puck, and one of the strong draws is we'll have a player in red is going to slap the player in white stick, try to slap his stick away, and then draw it back on his backhand. That's a very effective move from a face-off standpoint. Now we're in a situation, once again, we have a left-handed shot and a right-handed shot. So as a center, we need to know that. Good positioning here, and what we're trying to do, we got our centers right now. Our right-handed center is going to try to neutralize this puck. He's going to try to let his wingers come in to win the puck. So he wants to negate the right-handed shooting forwards stick and then use his body, roll into the face-off, use his body, and kick the puck back or control the center while his wingers come in. So once again, it's important for them to watch the puck, know where the dot is, and know where the opponent's stick is. Good job right there. Takes his stick right away, engages, but rolls into the face-off, uses his feet and his body, and is able to get a puck into a place where the other line mates can help him in and skate onto it. Other responsibilities for the face-off man are make sure you know the playing rules. Make sure you know whose stick needs to be in the face-off dot first and really understand that. Face-offs, as the center, as the person taking that face-off, you need to take charge. You're the quarterback in that situation. You need to make sure all of your teammates are on the same page. Get to know the linesman in your league. Get to know the linesman that's dropping the puck during that game. What are their tendencies? How can you exploit their tendencies to help you? Understand what your opposing team's strengths and weaknesses are as well. How can you use your strengths against their weaknesses and create some opportunities for yourselves? Make sure you read what type of plays your opponents might be running in the offensive zone so you can offset that. And as well, let's make sure oftentimes centers will subconsciously bang their stick on the dot. The linesman subconsciously oftentimes will drop the puck right where that center is banged the stick. So try those sort of tactics to make sure that you have your entire team, your entire line mates ready for that face-off, and you really understand and give yourself the best probability to have success because you understand the linesman, you understand the rules, you understand what your opponent's trying to run, their strengths and weaknesses, and you also understand the tendencies of the linesman. If you bang your stick on a dot, make that little spot on the ice, oftentimes they'll drop it right there, and that will give you an advantage. Now, when you come to face-offs, it's a real fun part of the game. It's one of the few areas in hockey that's very static. It starts from a stop position, and everybody has to react to the puck. It's also one of the few areas where you can really choreograph different types of plays. And it's fun for kids, as I mentioned, maybe to come up with different names of face-off plays. I think it's really important to make sure that you have different names so everybody can quickly get on the same page. At one time, we had one of our assistant coaches had played in the NHL for an awful long time, and his coach had come up with a face-off play that was given to him by one of his former players, and his name was Shoe Bottom. So he told a story about how late in the game there was an offensive zone opportunity, and the coach was up on the dasher pointing at his shoe, yelling at everybody, "Shoe bottom, shoe bottom." So it was even at that level, guys have names for plays. They can recognize quickly and really execute all five guys on the same page. Now, it's very oftentimes where you can chart the probability of success when it comes to face-offs. What we do is have our backup goaltender chart the wins and the losses of individual center icemen. We also want to chart how one of our lines is doing against our opponent's other lines. And we can chart all different areas on the ice where we're having success or not having success. So somebody on the bench can do that, and that information is accessible to the coaches immediately. But I also think it's very important that you go over that with that person. What exactly is a win? What exactly is a lost face-off? And what exactly is a neutral draw? Because the accuracy of that information is very, very important. And then it allows you to understand better what are my matchups, who do I want to have out on the ice in certain situations, in certain areas of the rink, on penalty killing, power play, at the end of a game. And it's also very important to understand where the face-offs are. Typically, you want to have a center iceman drawing to his backhand, towards the corner, towards the boards in the defensive zone. That gives you a better ability to maintain and contain that puck and keep it out of scoring areas. So that's really, really important. Then there's other situational plays that are equally as important. An offensive zone draw, what do you do when you're drawing the puck back? Do you want to draw it to the middle of the rink in the offensive zone or to the board side D? Oftentimes, we want to move it to the board side D. So you want somebody pulling that puck on his backhand if possible. But as I said, essentially sometimes some center icemen are very good on their forehand, pulling it back to that side as well. So you can measure and quantify who's really good in those areas. Then, depending on how your league is officiated, you have a certain allotment of time to get into the face-off. Your center may be late getting out to the ice. Make sure you get your winger in there to take the face-off, and he has to get thrown out of the draw, so then your center iceman can get in there and take that draw, as opposed to your center rushing in there, trying to take that face-off, only to get tossed out, and now a winger has to get in there. And then when you pull the goalie 6-on-5, at the end of a game, critical situations, probably want to have two face-off guys out there, but they also have to understand what their roles are. If I'm not the center and I'm playing a winger, what's my positional responsibility? That's very, very important. And you take the same idea. If a center iceman gets kicked out of a face-off, in particular in the defensive zone, what is his responsibility and what's the responsibility of the winger coming in to take that draw? That sequence of communication is vital. We need everybody understanding their roles, what you're going to do, because your roles have changed now that you've changed positions. Let's make sure we're on the same page.